Hello everyone. In this video, I will explain what I've done to achieve maximum download speeds of 65 megabits per second and maximum upload speeds of 49 megabits per second from home by using the 4G network instead of the NBN. These speeds may not at first glance sound that impressive, but my only alternative is my Optus cable connection that achieves speeds of 25 megabits per second download and just 1.5 megabits per second upload. I will explain in detail everything from start to finish that I've done and all the equipment that I've purchased and installed in order to achieve high internet speeds via 4G. Right from the start, I should explain that I'm just another guy. I'm by no means an expert on antennas, telecommunications engineering, or any of this stuff. I'm a computer scientist, motivated by achieving the fastest download and specifically the fastest upload speeds that I can, and I was willing to put the research time and hands-on work in that I needed to achieve this. My motivation in creating this video is to help other people, perhaps just like you, that are interested in achieving the fastest internet speeds that you can without the NBN by using the 4G network. Firstly, I would like to explain my reasoning as to why I have the need for fast internet access. I run a business part-time from home and I perform community work which involves photography, video editing and video production. My business and my community activities have a pressing need, especially for fast uploads, in order for me to upload the content I've created to platforms like Facebook and YouTube. As stated, I currently have Optus cable internet and I also have Optus mobile internet. The upload speed on Optus cable maxes out at just 2 megabits per second and is often much slower than this, which is far too slow for my business purposes. Unfortunately, my Optus mobile upload speed is very similar, and the reason why is because I do not have adequate 4G reception from the basement of my mother's home, where I run my business from. The NBN is still not available in my street in Spotswood, Victoria, but even if it was, I still need an alternative fast internet connection for when the NBN is congested. Now, I'm sure I don't need to go into detail of the terrible customer service of Optus and Telstra, how hard it is to get through to them for support over the phone, how irritating it is to deal with them, etc. You're here watching this video for a very good reason, and I'm going to do my best to explain and to demonstrate everything to you in such a way that you won't even need to pick up the phone to call Optus or Telstra. And that will save you a lot of wasted time, effort and frustration. Note carefully, the information in this video and the level of detail provided is not available anywhere on the Telstra nor the Optus website. Perhaps they think that we are too stupid to understand it, or maybe that we won't put in the time and the work needed to achieve it. Regardless of their reasoning, I'm putting this video out there to help people like you, and if or when Optus or Telstra call or contact me about it, I will do unto them that which they have done unto me. I'll place them on hold for 45 minutes to an hour with really annoying marketing messages advising them of how important they are to me. Then I'll hang up on them. Any emails I receive from them will go directly to the trash. Anyway, the solution to achieving fast internet speeds over 4G from home is as follows. Firstly, determine the location of the Optus and Telstra 4G towers that are closest to your home. 2. Install the speed test app on your laptop, PC and mobile phone. 3. Perform speed tests from various positions at your property and in the surrounding area by pointing your mobile phone at the Optus and Telstra towers. 4. Determine the tower that you have a direct line of sight to, if possible, that gives you the fastest download and upload speeds on your phone. 5. Purchase and install 2 log directional antennas and supporting poles on your roof and point them at the Optus and Telstra tower. 6. Run 2 LMR 200 coaxial cables from the 2 log directional antennas into a business class 4G LTE router, specifically the Draytek Vigor 2926 LAC. 7. Insert your Optus or Telstra SIM card into the Draytek 4G router and configure the router on your network. 8. Enjoy fast 4G internet speeds. I will now go into more detail on each of the 8 points I've just made so that you can clearly see how I have achieved each and give you an idea on how you can do the same, where to buy the equipment from, how much it costs, and so on. Step 1. Determine the location of the Optus and Telstra 4G towers that are closest to your home. I live in Spotswood, which is a suburb of Melbourne, Victoria, in the country of Australia. I had a general idea of where the Optus and Telstra phone towers were located, but I now had to determine exactly where they were, the distance from my mother's property, whether or not I had a direct line of sight to them, the specific infrastructure that was available on each tower, whether or not there was any trees or other obstructing obstacles in the direct line of sight, and so on. There is a website called oztowers.com.au where you can type in your suburb and it will list the 3G and 4G towers. I used this website myself to pinpoint precisely on Google Maps the location of the cell tower that I had a direct line of sight to from my mother's property. I took photographs of the tower from the property and surrounds using a camera with a telephoto lens, both during the day and at night. One of the reasons I photographed at night is because I could not see the cell tower clearly from the property due to trees obstructing it. You can see in this photo I took at night the lights shining through the trees. The Spotswood 4G tower is housed on a large format advertising sign at 228 Hall Street, Spotswood. The light is from the advertising sign, which you can see through the trees. The distance from my mother's property to the tower I calculated via Google Maps at 700 metres. I also took note of other 4G towers in the neighbourhood so that I could perform speed tests on each of them to determine the tower that provided the fastest internet download and upload speeds. 2. Install the speed test app on your laptop, PC and mobile phone. I downloaded and installed the Ookla speed test app on my iPhone. This app is available from the App Store. You can also get versions of it for your laptop and your PC. You should download the app on all of your devices that you would like to do the speed tests on. 3. Perform speed tests from various positions at your property and in the surrounding area by pointing your mobile phone at the Optus and Telstra towers. Now that I knew where all the 4G towers were in my neighbourhood, it was time I conducted speed tests on my iPhone XS to determine the tower that provided the fastest internet download and upload speeds. I drove to each tower and sat under it in my car, and I also walked around near each from various close distances. I performed quite a few speed tests on different days and at different hours and distances from the tower. The tests are saved on the phone, and you can transfer the results as a CSV file via email from your phone to your desktop or laptop computer, where you can analyze the results in more detail. 4. Determine the tower that you have a direct line of sight to, if possible, that gives you the fastest download and upload speeds on your phone. The results of my speed tests indicated that the fastest 4G infrastructure was located at 228 Hall Street, Spotswood, and I had a direct line of sight to it from my mother's property. I then conducted more tests from the balcony where I pointed my phone at the tower, and this time I logged the results in a spreadsheet as well, which I placed compass coordinates into so I could determine the precise direction to point my 4G antennas at to get the best signal and achieve the fastest possible internet speeds. 5. Purchase and install 2 log directional antennas and supporting poles on your roof and point them at the Optus and Telstra tower. I purchased 2 log directional antennas and 2 15-meter long cables directly from a manufacturer in China, which I found on Alibaba.com, and I had the manufacturer post them to me in Australia via DHL. Whilst waiting for the antennas, I went to Bunnings, the hardware store, and I purchased antenna mounting infrastructure, and I installed this using Dyna Bolts high on the south-facing wall of the property where I had direct line of sight to the Optus and Telstra 4G towers. I drilled 2 holes in the brick wall to pass the cables through. In the screenshot here you can see the equipment I purchased, and I've included links in the description to this video to the specific equipment and the prices I paid for it at Bunnings. Unfortunately, Bunnings doesn't sell the log directional antennas you'll need for 4G, and it's best to purchase them directly from China anyway, as you'll pay a lot more if you purchase them here in Australia from a specialist telecom supplier. When installing the directional antennas, the first antenna must be rotated horizontally to a 45-degree angle, and the second to a 135-degree angle. To get the angles right, I simply created a new image in Photoshop and drew 2 lines, one of them at a 45-degree angle, and under that one, another line at a 135-degree angle. Then I printed this out on a sheet of A4 paper. This guide made mounting my antennas at the correct angles on the pole easier. My antennas have been mounted approximately 10 meters from ground height. It's important to mount the antennas as high as you can with the best line of sight possible and point them in the direction of the 4G tower. It's critical that you point the antennas in the right direction and carefully adjust them until you get the highest download and upload speeds possible from your location. The reason you need to install 2 antennas is so your modem can use MIMO. MIMO is an acronym for multi-in, multi-out. Most wireless broadband modems sold these days contain MIMO technology. MIMO enables the device to dynamically set up many signal paths to optimize transmission and reception to the tower. When a 4G modem is used in a 4G coverage area, and if the 4G signal is strong enough, the modem will switch to MIMO mode, usually resulting in higher data speeds. You will also have enhanced signal levels for 3G, 4G, and 4G MIMO. Telstra refers to its fast 4G service as 4GX, and Optus calls it 4G+. A MIMO antenna, which in my case, as stated, are 2 log directional antennas combined together to create a MIMO antenna, is connected to the 2 antenna ports on the Draytek router via the 2 cables which are terminated with SMA male connectors. MIMO antennas have 2 antenna cables and are basically 2 antennas in one, where the 2 antenna radiators are polarized at opposite 45-degree angles to match the cell tower transmission format. In simple terms, MIMO antennas should be used in 4G areas where the aim is to increase the 4G level to a modem. 6. Run 2 LMR 200 coaxial cables from the 2 log directional antennas into a business class 4G router, specifically the Draytek Vigor 2926 LAC. The Draytek Vigor 2926 LAC is a 4G business class LTE router. LTE is an abbreviation for long-term evolution. LTE is a 4G mobile communications standard, and an LTE router is a router that is specifically designed for connection to a 4G network. It has a SIM card slot where you can put the SIM card from your mobile phone. This enables you to connect to the 4G network in the same way as you do using your mobile phone. Connect the cables from the two log directional external antennas into the 4G antenna connections at the back of the Draytek router. The Draytek router supports 3G and 4G LTE bands, including band 3, 1800 MHz, band 5, 850 MHz, band 7, 2600 MHz, band 8, 900 MHz, band 20, 800 MHz, and band 28, 700 MHz. The maximum data rate for downlink is 150 megabits per second, and the data rate for uplink is 50 megabits per second. These speeds should be more than sufficient for most people, at least for now, and should be a great improvement to what you're currently experiencing. It is unlikely that you will achieve these maximum speeds for a variety of factors, including distance to the 4G tower, obstructions like trees, etc., in the way of the signal. I was lucky in that my upload speed is almost at the maximum my router is capable of, and I'm exceptionally happy about this upload speed, as I can now upload in 5 minutes what was taking me over 3 hours to upload previously. Before you remove the SIM card from your phone, note down the SIM card's details. On the iPhone, you can get these details through the Settings mobile menu. Note the primary, mobile data, personal hotspot, and SIM PIN menu items, and the settings under each of these menus. Number 7. Insert your Optus or Telstra SIM card into the Draytek 4G router and configure the router on your network. You will need to purchase a SIM adapter kit, as the SIM card slot is a standard size. You can buy these on eBay for around $1. Once you have the SIM adapter kit, insert the SIM from your mobile phone into the adapter and insert it into the SIM card slot on the Draytek router. You will need to remove the SIM cover on the Draytek router using a small screwdriver in order to do this. Configure the router and you're done. Screw the SIM card cover back on. Change the default admin password of the router. Set the WAN, internet access, and network mode to 4G only to start with, and switch between that and the 2G, 3G, 4G modes, and do some speed tests to determine the mode that you can get the highest download and upload speeds on. Click the LTE status setting to see if the LTE modem has a status of operational. Note that if your reception is not high enough, you will get a rather confusing error message which says registration denied. This is a reception issue, and you will need to adjust your 4G log directional external antennas to make sure they're pointed correctly in the direction of the 4G tower. Click the LAN setting and enable 5 GHz and 2.4 GHz wireless access to the router. In my case, I actually have 2 mobile phone numbers. I've used the SIM card from my second mobile phone so that I won't have to keep removing the SIM from my primary mobile phone. I'm on the 200 gigabytes per month Optus MyPlan Plus mobile plan, which has something called data pooling, which allows you to share your data between your devices. This is a very useful feature. If you're watching this video and you're interested in achieving fast internet speeds via 4G, I think I can safely make the assumption that you're willing to spend a little more money for a reliable, fast internet service, and you have no other viable option. So getting a second phone with a SIM is probably not going to be a big issue for you. 8. Enjoy lightning fast 4G internet speeds. If you've done everything correctly, you should be able to achieve much faster internet speeds over 4G than what you were experiencing via ADSL or cable. In my case, with just one antenna I set up as a test, my internet upload speed was 10 times as fast. My final end results using the external 2 log directional antennas in MIMO mode on the roof of the house plugged into the Draytek router in 4G mode were 65 megabits per second download and 49 megabits per second upload. I also performed some speed tests using the iPhone XS from the balcony of the house, which were very fast. Note that the new iPhone XS that I performed my speed tests on around Spotswood and from the balcony of the house has an antenna capable of 4x4 MIMO, and the internal modem of the iPhone XS is an Intel XMM7560. This modem is a Cat16 gigabit class modem capable of speeds exceeding 1 gigabit per second, which is category 16, and up to 150 megabits per second upload, category 13. The Draytek router is only a category 4 device capable of 150 megabits per second download and 50 megabits per second upload speed. It has 2 ports where external antennas can be attached. As of May 2019, when I made this video, it is not easy to find a business class LTE router backed by a reputable company that is greater than a category 6, and it was just as hard to find one with 4 LTE antenna ports, so I stopped looking and I purchased the best router that I could find, which was the Draytek Vigor 2926 LAC, and I put up 2 external antennas instead of 4. I expect in the future, as manufacturers release new LTE routers, some of them will be capable of gigabit speeds via 4x4 MIMO, and when this occurs, I'll buy one and put up another 2 log directional antennas. As crazy as it sounds, I could simply put my new iPhone XS on an antenna mast, waterproof, and connect it to my computer, and I know I would get an extra 120 megabits per second download rate, as my tests on the balcony prove that I can achieve download rates of 200 megabits per second using the iPhone XS. But my upload rates wouldn't be much faster, and upload rates are what I really care about. Some things to take careful note of. The Draytek router can be put into 2G, 3G, 4G mode, or into 4G exclusive mode. There is a speed difference depending on what mode you select. You should experiment with these modes and determine what mode gives you the best results for your business purposes. Future Draytek 4G LTE routers. I contacted Draytek and I advised them that they have a great product in the Vigor LTE router, and I asked them if they have any plans on releasing a future 4G LTE router like the Vigor, but at a higher category than category 4 that supports 4x4 MIMO using 4 external antennas. I advised them that it had not been easy to find any 4G LTE routers higher than category 4 on the market that support 4 LTE antennas at the moment, and I advised them that my iPhone XS has a 4x4 MIMO antenna and higher category modem, and has very high download speeds of 200 megabits per second and upload speeds of 80 megabits per second or more. They acknowledged that a 4x4 MIMO LTE version of the router would be useful and has definite future potential, but at this time they have no fixed production dates available. But if they have any future updates, they will keep me posted. I really hope they do produce a future router capable of higher speeds with 4 antenna slots for 4x4 MIMO support. I will definitely buy one. Bunnings, the equipment I purchased. On the screen now is a list of all the equipment I purchased and the prices I paid in Australian dollars. I needed to visit both Bunnings and Jaycar to secure the antennas, mounts, and the connectors to plug the aerials into the router. I should have communicated more clearly with the manufacturer in China of the log directional antennas and stated that I wanted 2 FME to SMA socket adapters and 2 right angle SMA plug to SMA plug adapters. I recommend that you do this so you don't have to buy them locally and waste your time driving to a specialized electronics store which may or may not have them in stock. Okay, the cost. All up, this setup has cost me 1,386 Australian dollars. That's for the Draytek router, the 2 log directional antennas from China with 15 meters of cable for each, the antenna masts and the connecting hardware to bolt the mast to the outside wall, and the connectors to connect the cables into the router. But the cost does not include other stuff I needed to buy in order to install the external antennas, like drill heads and other equipment. A big thank you to CPL in West Melbourne, who first brought the Draytek 4G LTE router to my attention. If you're watching this video and you want to buy the Draytek router, please consider buying it through CPL. Now, I purchased mine through Mwave as I'm a bit price sensitive, and they had a cheaper price on the unit at the time that I purchased it. So that's it. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and I really hope I did a good enough job of explaining the process of achieving much faster internet download and upload speeds by installing your own external 4G antennas on your roof. If you would like to support me in my video work, please consider making a donation. My Bitcoin QR code is on the screen now. If you donate, I'll provide you with support on a best efforts basis if you decide to go ahead and follow in my footsteps. You can contact me directly at this email address or visit my website, intjbilling.com. All the best, everyone. I'm Clarke Towson, CEO of INTJ.
Hi, welcome to Optus. To purchase a new service, recontract or move house, press 1.